So here we go. This is the second video of this, whatever it is. Here we go. This is from the 24 Hours a Day book, July 25th, AA, Thought for the Day. We are living on borrowed time. We are living today because of AA. Stop. Incorrect. You're living today because you made a choice to live today, right? AA helps point in a good direction, but it is not the reason why you are alive today. You are the reason you are alive today. Whether you made that choice unconsciously or consciously, you did. And by the grace of God, I believe in God. That is a very important concept, right? However, I believe I have God within me, right? I have a God consciousness inside me. Started a long, long time ago. And by doing that, by having this simple concept of God inside me, right, and being the God that I am, all I know from logical standpoint is we come from something, right? I came from my mom came from her mom, blase, blase, so on and so forth. Even if aliens made us, something made the aliens, right? So as far back as you could possibly think, right? There was something, and then there was nothing. Well, I know I'm not nothing, so therefore I must be something, right? Or from something. And if I am from something, we'll call that the energy of God, right? Something consciously made a conscious mind, right? Now, I don't know where, I don't know when, I don't know how. All I know is that I came from something. And if that something is God, well, then, I am a child of God. I am a God. No matter the smallest micro particle, God particle per se, to include some science in there, well, if it's inside of me, which it is because we all came from that something, guess what? Again, with God within me, what does that do? That allows for 100% accountability of my life, right? My life. If I have God or my higher power outside of me, which it is outside of me, it's in part of my aura, if you will. If it's outside of me, I have the potential to blame that, to blame God for the way things are. Guess what? Things are the way they are because I chose, right? I made a choice a long time ago, not knowing I was making a choice a long time ago because I was unconsciously making that choice that affects me today. I'm grateful for all of it because I'm alive. Here I am. I did everything I was supposed to do right to end up right here talking to you right now. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. And here I am. Logic, reasoning, within the world of reality, right? World of reality, i.e., I can't fly without a plane, right? I can't breathe water. I'm not a fish, right? Um, I'm a human being first and foremost. Any label that someone were to put on me, guess what? I don't care. Because I'm free, very simply, because I don't allow anybody's words, thoughts, or actions to affect my state of being. And if I can do that in the midst of a tornado of chaos, that is serenity and that is peace. And this is why I'm doing that as well. I'll get back to it real quick. Now, this is the hard part to swallow. That maybe the concept of God that was taught to us is incorrect, right? See, if the equation at its base, right, the formula, if you will, is added in and everything on top of it is incorrect, well, put it like this. If 1 plus 1 equals 5, which we know it doesn't, equals 2, we'll just say, in basic mathematical standards, everywhere that I see the brackets of A, we'll say A equals 1 plus 1 equals 5, right? Anywhere we see that bracketed A, from the base, the foundation is incorrect, right? The foundational equation is incorrect. Why? I don't know why. I didn't fucking make the equation. All I know is I see what I see, and what stands to be the evidence is that the success rate, though based on a person's active work of developing their own life and their own intellect, the success rate is very, very low. And if I can affect that in some way, shape, or form, through experiencing and giving away the truth, I think I'm doing my part. As a human being, I have a duty that if I feel something incorrectly being done, it is my duty to make people aware of this. What you do with it after that is on you, but I have to do my part and make it aware. Get back to it. Sometimes I get sidetracked. And the grace of God. What there is left of our lives we owe to AA and to God. Again, AA helped with the direction, okay? But I took the first step. I did the work. You did the work. You acknowledged choice. I owe to God. I owe to God. Here's the thing. If I owe God, I can show gratitude for the life and opportunity that I have gotten, right? But I don't owe him anything but to do exactly what I believe I'm supposed to do. And that's experience this life. Experiencing it. All the good, all the bad, everything, right? Because the discomfort, the resistance training of the mind is what makes us stronger. That's what we strengthen. We strengthen our resolve. We strengthen our self-confidence. We strengthen the ability to use these brains that the energy somehow we got to this point in today. I think that's worth it. That's showing gratitude to actually the most powerful type of gratitude that you could possibly have. Show action, right? Doing the work. God didn't do the work. I did the work. Why is it that when something good happens through AA, this is the AA perspective, if you will, or I shouldn't say AA, anonymous groups, it's God's fault when everything's right, but it's my fault when everything's wrong. That doesn't make sense to me. So if it's God's will, right, and I'm supposed to be doing God's will, I wasn't doing God's will before. All of a sudden, it was my will. That's why I went wrong. Oh, okay. So as long as I do God's will, where's God's will? Where's it? Is there a list that tells me where I'm supposed to do what He wants me to do? Because I'm ready to work. I'll do it. I'll do the work. Tell me, God, where's it at? And that's what people do. They sit there and wait. They sit there and wait for something to happen. They sit there and they say their prayers and they say, hey, give me this. Please, 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 please give it to me. Just in asking this, as can be simply explained, is because we ask for it, so shall we receive, right? We're looking for what we're asking for. So no matter how we see or how we obtain what we are asking for, it couldn't be because it was always there, and now that we're looking for it, we found it. No, couldn't be that. It has to be God. It has to be the God that says, I'm gonna kill all these kids over here at this Christian whatever camp, right? But I'm gonna let these murderers over here that rape, pillage, and destroy lives. I'm gonna let them go. They can serve their time in prison, but then they gotta go. I don't know why, but I'm gonna do that. Does that fucking make sense? If it doesn't make sense, And it doesn't make logical synapses creating in the brain, ideas. If it doesn't make fucking sense, I'd look into that, right? Because there's a reason. There's a reason for that. What I use is very simply in that beginning point in which I do believe in God, right? He's in me. A part of him is in me in the best way, in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit, right? It makes sense. And since we don't hear God, we don't see him judging, and we don't see any of it, that maybe that's the point, right? Maybe in creating matter and consciousness, he dissipated himself into everything that you see. So everything that you see could potentially be God himself, right? Which would stand to reason, string theory. It stands for reincarnation, right? All it is God remembering who he is at the end or throughout the life, right? And experiencing himself physically through us, right? In the beginning, when we're born, we forget. We choose to forget. We go through life, experiencing life as though only the infinite power could physically. At the end, we take this information of our experiences. There is no right and no wrong. It is all neutral. We take it back up to the source, or to the left, or to the right, wherever the freaking source is. I don't know. Again, all I know is what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And it does not make sense that a judgment God, a God of judgment, based in fear and control, right? Again, man-made. 1100 Constantine got together and said, hey, we're going to pick and choose what we put in this Bible. We're going to call it a Bible, right? We're going to pick and choose because we are going to be the ones that have the power. We are going to be the ones that control, right? That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense for the way things are today. Yeah. Yeah. So, the idea of God, for me, I was lied to. I was lied to, not by my parents, though they passed it on to me, not by their parents, but a long, long time ago. And it doesn't even matter how it happened. All that matters is that it did happen. And through logic, reasoning, the constants of reality, it does not make sense that a God that is, I believe, love, right? All encompassing and hate at the same time, just decides, you know what? How much money do you have in your bank account? If you don't have a certain amount of money in your bank account, if you don't love me a certain amount, you can't get in here. This is for the cool people, right? This is where all the cool people go, right? That I allow, right? Because I'm God, right? And, well, if he's all knowing and all powerful, guess what? Still waiting. Still waiting. He's actively creating people that he knows going to hell. If there was a hell, there's not. But this concept, it falls apart. Falls apart at its core. And cognitive dissonance, we'll say it's CMD. Cognitive dissonance seems to be the pulpit. It's a psychological thing inside of our minds that says, I believe something. And though no matter how much factual proof that you give me, what it's doing is making me look at myself, and I don't like that. So the more factual information that you give me, the more evidence you give me of things being a certain way, if it doesn't match my core belief system, if it doesn't match the idea that I've created in my own head of what this is, you're wrong. That's scary. That's scary. That is a closed-minded individual, right? Even I can accept I could be wrong. I 100% could be wrong. I'm still looking for the falsities in what I'm doing and the path that I'm on and the purpose that I've chosen. And I can't find any thus far. I'm certain things like I don't want to take on AA. I want to better AA. I want to better everyone. It's the betterment of myself and those around me at the same time. It can be done. I do it every day. I visualize it on a mass scale. And because of this, well, as I said before, a fire burns inside me. If something doesn't make sense, I gotta know why. Right? The answer, I may never get. I get that. I accept that. But without actively trying to build and strengthen who I am and my intellect through discipline, commitment, integrity, open mindedness, wisdom. If I'm not doing something, I'm not doing anything. If I'm not changing it, I'm choosing it. And I refuse to choose false, fakes. To each their own. Like, believe what you want. But if you want to better yourself and you say you want to better yourself, then do it. There's two types of people: people that talk a lot of shit and people that get shit done. That's the work. Building this, utilizing this, and in all shape or form, it is showing gratitude for the energy of which God is, right? This isn't something I believe. This is something I know. I know because I have evidence to prove it. Proof through experience of my life that proves this. In fact, case in point, we'll go back to why I'm doing this. And what there is left of our lives we owe to AA and to God. We should, right there, should, would, and could are shame denouncing words. Understand that. Realize that. Shame. We should make the best use we can of our borrowed time and in some small measure pay back for that part of our lives which we wasted before we came to AA. So basically, what this just said is everything that you did prior to coming to AA was wrong. It's wrong, and you owe AA for that. You owe God for that. You owe. Really? Who do I pay for that? I'll take care of it. There you go. I'll do some good deeds, right? I don't pay for it. Or everything that led up to this point had to happen in order for this point to happen. Accepting all that I am, all the good, all the bad, all the trafficking, all the robbery, all the bad shit that I did, just as much as all the good shit that I did. I'm a thief, but I'm a giver. I'm a liar, but I tell the truth. All of these things of encompassing who I am. Absolutely. I'm going to accept and love myself unconditionally. The lessons I've learned have turned me into who I am today, and it would not be who I am today had I not gone through that. You, grateful. Be grateful for the opportunity that you've already had and the opportunities that are going to be afforded to you by you doing the fucking work. Not waiting and praying for God. That seems to be late. He's late. Not only late, but we blame him, we blame people for our choices. That is a sick and sadistic thing as it is already, but here and there right now. The shame should we owe this to AAs. That's what it says. Apparently, we should do everything and understand everything in this book because it's must be true because it's written there, right? It's written there by another human being, and so it must be true. It's true. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna help. Let me just shame myself for something I can't change ever again, or I can accept myself and show gratitude for what I already have and the knowledge I've gained because of it. I can do that. That helps. That's for the betterment of my life. That's looking at the glass half full, or vice versa. I'm looking at it in the best way I possibly can. So if I focus on the negative shit happens. I focus on the positive shit happens. That's the truth. And you can base that on your own experience. If you have any life experience, I don't know you. Point being, moving on. We should make the best use that we can of borrowed time. We wasted all the time before AA. Our lives from now on are not our own. Did I sign that over? Did I sign that something over that said it's not my life anymore? I hope it's my life. It better be my life. If you gave your life up and you don't know who you gave it to, have no idea, right? There's more factual evidence of UFOs than of a God I'm supposed to give my will and life over to? Brings me to my next point here in this insanity that just is a bunch of words on anything, right? We hold them in trust for God. Trust. Trust. Without validation is not trust, it's faith. So what you're doing is you're trying to disguise one word as another word to make it sound better so that we actually believe it, right? I've never heard that done before. Okay. All right. I'm going to call the dog a cat. And because it's a cat now, I got to let it out. It's an indoor cat, but I'm going to let it out to go to the bathroom, right? I'm disguising it as something else. I'm lying. That's what I'm doing. I'm lying. Trust without verification is not trust. It's faith. I trust that you're going to do this because you've done it. The evidence is you've done it time and time again. I trust that because you've shown me I can trust you, right? Faith is saying, here's the keys to the bank. I know it's your first day. I know we really didn't do a background check, but I want you to have these because I have faith that you'll do the right thing. Again, not logical, right? At least that's the way it sounds to me. And you can check this. Again, it's the 24 hours a day, July 25th, AA thought for the day. This part is I'm not even done. And we must do all we can to forward the great movement. Now it's a movement, right? It's a movement based on an idea that is false. Okay, check, got it. We must do all we can to forward the great movement that has given us a new lease on life again. You have given yourself a new lease on life. You've done it through doing the 12 steps, not because AA said, guess what? Here you go. Here's your new lease. Sign the dotted line. You owe us. That's what they're saying here. Am I holding my life in trust for AA? So now it's not God. Now I have to trust AA. I have to trust self-proclaimed sick people, right? And I go to AA meetings every day. If I believed everything I was told, I might be a marshmallow, right? trust without verification is not trust, it is faith, right? Dear Lord. Meditation today. You should, there it is again, another shame denouncing word. Hold your life in trust for God. Again, wrong word, right? Think deeply on what it means. It is anything too much to expect from such a life? Every time I get upset, guess what? It's because I put an expectation on something and it wasn't fulfilled. So what they just said is that is anything too much to expect from such a life? I'm supposed to expect that I'm going to get something from this. I expect it, and when it doesn't, and when it happens, good news, right? It happened, right? But if it doesn't, guess what? Now that's my fault because I must have done something wrong. I didn't figure it out. I didn't take the right suggestion. I didn't take what I was supposed to take and leave what I wasn't supposed to leave. Guess what? AA says that's my fault. It's not. An idea that explains everything also explains nothing. It's okay. Because I'm grateful for them. Because they show me what insanity still is. It's almost like they're calling me stupid. Us stupid. We're gonna throw these words in here, make it sound good. They'll never figure it out. Why would you even try that? Moving on. Meditation for the day. You should hold your life in trust for God. Think deeply on what that means. Is anything too much to expect from such a life? Do you begin to see how dedicated a life in trust for God can be? Yes. I understand what you're asking me to dedicate my life to something I have no proof other than personal experience that he has any control on what happens today. I know he had control when he first created everything, right? Show me an example that says, I am God. I came down here to show all you human beings I exist. I'm not saying finding the miracle within the miracle, because every single one of you is a miracle. You are 1 in 400 trillion. The odds of becoming alive, being alive right now, 1 in 400 trillion. And yet here we are. It's pretty astronomical. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. But is it? The things that happen today were because of my choices 10 years ago. The things that happened 10 years ago were because of somebody else's choice. My parents to have sex, make me 40 some years ago and change. 29 forever, that's what I always say. But point being, a choice was made in the beginning to give us choice. And if we are made in the image of God, well then what's wrong with us? Nothing. We are exactly the way we're supposed to be. We're exactly the way we were made. Everybody is exactly the way they're supposed to be. It's our strategy that was given to us and told, this is what it means to be successful. This is how to do it right. If everybody is an individual, then the exact same experience is not going to be the same for everybody. So why are you trying to fit a bunch of square pegs inside a bunch of round holes and saying, if you don't fit, something's wrong with you? No. Something's wrong with the board that we were placed on where there's no square holes. But we should figure that out. I really hope this is making sense to you. It makes sense to me, perfect sense. God can be, if you are faithful, you can believe that God has many good things in store for you. God can be Lord of your life, controller of your days, of your present, and of your future. Okay, let's break it down again. Something that I have no proof exists. I'm supposed to let control my life? Here, okay, let me try that. Control me. Please, God, control me. See what I'm doing right now? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for something to happen. Like I was just told to do. Give it control. Be a puppet. Or you can utilize what's already been given to you by Him, this mind, this body, this intellect. Develop it. Put the work in. He's busy. That must be it. He's busy. He's busy because he's going to answer everybody else's prayers and not mine. That must be it. That must be it. Couldn't be that he's just not there and I'm controlling my life, right? Whether he's there or not doesn't matter. He gave me free will to live my life. He gave you free will to live your life. What kind of God is going to give you the gift of choice, a powerful gift, and then judge you on what you did with it? Does it make more sense that he just wants you to do anything with it? Experience the life you want to have. Experience God physically. Figure out what you think makes sense. Occam's razor. With all things being equal and understood, the simplest answer, most likely, is the right one. Well, what makes sense is that a piece of me is within him because I have the ability, I have the God-like power to create something out of nothing. It starts with an idea. I talk about it, I put it on paper. I put it from paper, I start the action and I create something out of nothing. Everything you see looking around you was an idea in someone's head. In a human being's head. I'm a human being. You're a human being. You have the ability to critical think. You can even contemplate the idea of God in consciousness. Think that's a mistake? I don't. I think we have the ability because we're here to gain experience of what this life is, to physically experience who we are, experience life, and experience what God is. This life is the experience of God in an infinite amount of ways. And guess what? That would also explain the Matrix. It would also explain the different versions. The name of it is slipping my mind right now. Um, in one in one reality, my right hand is up, in another reality, my left hand's up, and it's like this, like this, like an infinite a number of ways. It also explains that. I just want nothing. I have everything I need. I have food. I have water. I have shelter. The three things that I need to survive. Because anything less than that, I'd be dead. I just need the bare minimum. Do the other things give me something to do? Yeah, they do. They give my mind a rest. They allow the process to take place, the wisdom to become wisdom, the knowledge through action becomes wisdom. We're not always rational. We're emotional. We are very unique. And I do believe we have the ability to manifest anything we want. The direction, which incidentally was the steps, right? They weren't called the steps in the beginning, they were called the directions, but they thought they would call them steps because it was more welcoming. So AA, NA, all these anonymous groups, though the 12 steps may work, what now? Today I stayed sober. That is their motto. Help an alcoholic, help an addict, stay sober today. Good. Guess what? I stayed sober. Now what? What can I do now? This is what that's about. It's about realizing we had to go through all those lessons to figure out what we were not in order to know who we are. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may hold my life in trust for God. I trust with no verification, so I have faith that I don't consider my life my own. That's what it says. I pray that I may no longer consider my life as all my own. The fuck is it then? So let me get this straight. He gave us free will. And now you're going to say, because you think it's a good idea, it may have helped one or two, three, four people, right? At one point in the beginning, and now everybody's looking for it. So if you didn't get the spiritualization, you did it wrong. Go ahead, go start back at the beginning. You fucked up. You should have done it this way. You should have done it better. You should it all over yourself. It's your fault. No one else's. That's your fault. Wise people throughout history have realized if I don't empower myself, if I don't discipline my mind, something will discipline it for me.